Good evening, listeners. It's Owl Stretching Time. And now, here's your host, Frank Macaluso.
Thank you, Isaac. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in once again to Owl Stretching Time. As some of you out there may know, a one-act play I wrote got picked to be performed by the Pipe Dream Studio Theater for their New Works workshop.
I didn't know that.
They're going to do a stage reading of it in December. They picked another play, too, by Taylor Lindemann, who is a wonderfully talented individual, brilliant improv comedian and musician, and I'm very eager to hear his play. He also directed The Undeniable Sound of Right Now for Pipe Dreams very recently. Well, anyway, in kind of a celebration of this neat little opportunity I got, here's something that has absolutely nothing to do with it. Picture it. Chicago, 2015. It's a harsh, cold winter's morning.
There's no pity.
Excuse me, sir. If you're looking for a good playwright, I'd like to offer my services. I'm kind of down on my luck right now, but I've got a whole portfolio of plays for you to choose from. Consider me, please. Oh, excuse me, miss, but I'm a playwright and I'm seeking employment. Thank you for your time.
Hey, you! Get away from the doorway!
Listen, miss, if I could just have a minute of your time, I'd like to tell you...
I don't want to hear your sob story, sir. I just want you off the theater property. You're scaring off our patrons.
Look, miss, all I need is a chance. I've already been turned down by 11 theaters in the Loop alone, and all 6 of the producers I've run into. I've lost my apartment. I've lost my day job. Nobody will help me, not even my own parents. Please, just give me a small bit of your time. Please.
I'm sorry, but I've got work to do. I can't help you right now. Maybe when my shift is over, I can give you $1 or something, but...
I'm not asking for a handout, miss. What I'd like is a job. I'm a writer. I was hoping your theater could take me in as a resident playwright.
Well, I don't really get much say in that kind of thing. I'm just a receptionist.
Please, just read some of my work. You'll see it's good, and you can go to whoever handles hiring playwrights and show it to them, and maybe they'll hire me. Please.
Fine.
Here. This one's my favorite. The Doctor of Hearts.
Wow. This is absolutely terrible. God-awful, putrid. I have never read such sappy, boring, predictable crap in all my life.
Crap? What do you mean crap? I poured my heart and soul out into that play, and you only read the first page.
The first page is all I can stand. Besides, I can already tell what's gonna happen. The 30-year-old widow is gonna fall in love with a brain surgeon who screwed up her dead husband's brain tumor surgery, but she won't know that until the end of the first act. But ultimately, she'll forgive him and get back together with him after he saves her prize-winning salamander from a house fire. It's been done 1,000 times, and the dialogue just makes it worse. Look at what this one lady says to the doctor at the very beginning of the first scene. I have a feeling I shall soon see the end of my troubles, and I shall have you to thank. Not even Don Armando will write such overly flowery garbage. Do us both a favor and take your crappy plays elsewhere. Maybe you can use them for kindling for your next trash can fire.
Oh, what do you know about writing?
I've been working at this theater for 10 years. I've seen the best of plays and the worst of plays. I've read every review in every paper and on every website. I know a good play when I see one.
Have you ever written a play before?
Yes, in high school and in college.
I mean a real play, one that got published.
How does a play getting published make it a real play?
Just answer my question. Have you ever written a play that got published?
Well, no, but I never really thought
Exactly. Your opinion doesn't matter. Now, I've had a play published, and it was pretty good.
Hold on. If my opinion of your work doesn't matter, why did you ask for it?
I mistook you for an intelligent individual with discerning tastes.
You got some nerve. Just because I disagree with you about your play, suddenly I'm unintelligent?
Well, if you can't understand the subtleties of my work.
What subtleties?
Do you mean to say that I tell instead of show?
And he proves my point.
How dare you?
You asked for my opinion and you got it, like it or not. Your plays suck, and I'm sorry. Now get out of here before I call the police.
Fine, but mark my words. You'll see my name in lights someday. I'll have written the next great Broadway classic, and you'll have to live with the fact that your theater missed out on it because of you.
The only thing this theater will be missing out on is purple prose and contrived plots. Why don't you do the whole damn world a favor and drop dead?
Fine. I won't stick around where I'm not appreciated. I guess I'll just go lie down on the metro tracks. Maybe the trains will respect my talent, or at least put me out of my misery.
Wait. I may have been a little hasty in my judgment. I mean, I only read one of your scripts. It may not have been your best, even if it was your favorite one. And I shouldn't have told you to drop dead. If you let me, I'd like to see some more of your work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Please stop touching me. Nothing against you, I just don't like being touched.
This one is my second favorite. I don't like it as much as Doctor of Hearts, but I guess that's just a writer's curse, huh? It's something different than I tried once.
Let's see. The main character gets knocked out cold at the end of the first scene. Next scene, he's lying in a bathtub full of ice. He wakes up to the antagonist's 13-year-old sister pointing a rifle at his head. She reveals the antagonist's troubled childhood, and then she does a complete heel-face turn. All in the time it takes to heat up a Hot Pocket? No real provocation at all? Run. Run away and never return.
But you haven't gotten to the pie fight scene yet.
Police! Police!
And now it's time for Out and About with our roving reporter, Emily Boes.
Thank you, Isaac. In an effort to bring some class and sophistication to this program, we've decided to include in our program interview segments with significant people in the media. Tonight, I'm here with an important figure right here at WJMU, current acting program director, Mr. William Anderson.
Thank you, Miss Boes. Please, call me Will.
All right, Mr. Anderson.
And may I just say that I've very much admired your work on this program.
Thank you.
It's a shame you don't get better material.
Well...
Really, whoever you've got writing for you just won't do anymore.
Mr. Anderson, how did you become the acting program director for WJMU?
Well, the person who had the position last year graduated, and the person who got it this year had to step down due to mental distress. Caused by this program, actually. Really, the writer you've got working on the show is absolutely awful.
Well, as the acting program director for WJMU, what exactly could you do about the supposed lack of quality in our program? What do you have the power to do?
Well, considering that to get a position such as the writer for a weekly program for our station, one must sign up for the CO 181 class. I could simply reassign the person or have them drop the class. Then, I would either have another person taking the CO 181 class, preferably one who can tell a good script idea from a hole in the ground, take over as writer. Or I could just cancel the show altogether.
Well, personally, I'd rather this show not be canceled.
For your sake, my pet, neither do I. So the ideal situation is that we find a decent writer for you. And the rest of the cast, of course. They're great. We can keep them. Who's the person writing for you now?
Frank Macaluso.
Ugh, awful surname. 4 syllables? 10 seconds of time wasted. 20 if you mispronounce it. Not like your name, Boes. It's a good, direct, 1-syllable surname. I believe all surnames ought to be kept to 1 syllable. 2 or 3 maybe, if you absolutely must, but no more. Anyway, I've snuck a peek at that play he wrote for Pipe Dream's New Works Workshop. I wouldn't line the bottom of a birdcage with that nonsensical dribble. So, obviously, I'd get rid of
Macaluso.
Honey, don't bother. It won't matter when you're famous.
Please don't.
Anyway, once he's gone, let's see. Who else can write a variety program? I think I may have to take drastic measures and draft someone in the cast. Like Michael Santos. Ooh, that's a wonderful surname. Santos. It commands respect. Does he write?
I don't really know.
Oh, well. Maybe I could get Lane Casper to do it. You've had her on your show once or twice, right? You know, her sister wrote the Tunneling series last semester. Absolutely beautiful. Or what about that guy Brian Barker? Oh, he's as talented as he is handsome. Now, I've read some of his writing. He's got the soul of a poet.
Yes, well, Frank actually asked him about writing for the series, and he declined.
Of course he would. He wouldn't want his good name plastered on some mediocre script, now would he?
Mr. Anderson, Brian Barker is primarily a screenwriter. He told me so himself.
It won't take him too long to adjust, especially if we can get Casper to help out with a couple episodes at the start. Then we'll have the perfect vehicle for you, my dear.
I'm starting to get very uncomfortable with this, Mr. Anderson.
What's making you uncomfortable?
Well, for one thing, we've only met today, and already you're calling me honey and my pet and my dear.
Those are just terms of endearment.
I have a bazooka, and I will blow you to smithereens if you don't stop.
Now, let's not lose our temper and say things we might regret, Tiger Drawers.
Stop that.
Hey, Emily, what's going on here?
Well, I was trying to have a nice, dignified conversation with Mr. Anderson here.
Anderson?
Yes, William Anderson, the acting program director for WJMU.
Acting program director, my ass. That's my old roommate, Charlie Simpkins.
What?
We were roommates last semester for 2 days before he tried to kill me with a forklift. And he gave you some cockamamie story about being the program director?
Well, how was I to know?
You could have asked me, or Professor Meister, or Tiffany Wilson, the real program director.
But she had to step down.
The only person doing any stepping around here is you. Now beat it, you psycho. I think this'll be the last time we ever try to do anything dignified on this show.
We will now pause for station identification, followed by a message from our sponsor.
You're listening to WJMU 89.5 The Quad.
Daddy, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Pumpkin.
Where do babies come from?
I think your mom can explain it better.
Mom just left for the grocery store.
You see, when a mommy and daddy love each other very much, they call SlimeCo and save 15% or more on car insurance?
And?
And what?
And how do they get a baby?
Wow, I thought that would work. Well, maybe your grandmother would know
She's
how.
out walking the dog.
Well, your Aunt Judy is a science teacher. She'd probably...
She lives all the way in Poughkeepsie.
Oh. Well, maybe Mrs. Trumbull next door can...
Mrs. Trumbull's been dead for 5 years. Look, Dad, if you don't know, just say it. I'm a very busy girl, and I haven't got time for all this fooling around.
Fine. I don't know. Now let's never talk about this again.
Okay, whatever. There's just one other question I have.
What is it?
What's an orgasm?
Switching to SlimeCo to save 15% or more on car insurance is always the right answer.
I swear one of these days I'm going to get a normal sponsor for this show. Anyway, it's time now to examine the important issues of the day on Roundtable.
Good evening and welcome to Roundtable. I'm your host, Michael Kilgallen. On tonight's panel, we have famed psychologist Dr. Patrick O'Leary, famed theologian Dr. Angela O'Leary, who coincidentally is married to Dr. Patrick O'Leary, LGBT rights activist Jeremy Ruiz, and a cute little corgi named Noodles. Tonight's topic, are millennials destroying the institution of marriage?
Oh my God, could that question have been phrased any more accusatorily? You sounded just like those clickbaity Breitbart articles.
I agree. That sounded more like an attack than a question. That said, I would, unfortunately, have to say that yes, millennials are destroying the institution of marriage.
Why?
Settle down, Mr. Ruiz. Let's not get ugly here.
All I did was ask her why she
Just
thought...
calm down and let me do my job as moderator. Now, Angela, why is it you believe millennials are destroying the institution of marriage?
Well, I think one of the biggest factors in this is that millennials aren't as religious as previous generations.
Oh, come off it, Angela. We're not talking about religion here. We're talking about marriage.
Well, Patrick, religion is very important in maintaining a good marriage. You would know that if you'd come to church with me once in a while.
My one day off in the week, and she wants to drag me down to a great big lecture, and I have to
Church
sit
is
through
more
enough
than
of
just
those.
a lecture, Patrick.
If we could get back to the topic at hand.
Yes, of course. Now, one of my colleagues, Dr. Genevieve Breitbach, has been happily married to her husband Jacob for nigh on 57 years now, and they're both atheists. So I think that kind of pokes a hole in your first argument, Angela.
Must you always do this to me?
What, prove you wrong?
There you go again. You're always belittling me.
My disagreeing with you is belittling you?
It's the way that you rub it in.
Doctors O'Leary, if I could, I'd like to turn the conversation over to Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz, what do you have to say on the matter?
First of all, I disagree with the notion that my generation is destroying the institution of marriage. I believe such a claim is unfounded.
Explain, then, why so many of your generation engage in hookups.
Of course, she brings it around to sex. The theologian wants to talk about sex.
What exactly is your issue with that? The Bible talks about sex.
Yes, but not as much as you do. Listening to you, you'd think the Bible was the Kama Sutra, except with all the fun parts cut out. You're just sex mad, that's what you are.
I'm sex mad? You're the one doing studies based on the Kinsey report.
Getting back to the point, perhaps our generation is a little hesitant to get married because of the complete and utter shambles our parents' marriages turned out to be. You know, it's your generation that has the highest divorce rate.
Well, I'll say one thing for your generation, Jeremy. You certainly seem to be at least very satisfied in your sex lives.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that you young people seem to be very active in the bedroom, unlike my husband.
Well, maybe I'd be more active in the bedroom if there was something to be active for.
I told you time and again, Patrick, I will not do that.
Show me in the Bible where it says we can't do that, Angela. Show me in the Bible!
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel a little nauseated. Noodles, you haven't said anything all night. What are your views on the matter? Huh, I never thought of it like that. Jeremy, I think I owe you and your generation an apology. Well, that's all the time we have on Roundtable tonight. Tune in next week when our topic is, Does Travel Broaden the Mind? Until then, on behalf of myself and the panel, thank you and good night.
It's time now for Farnsworth's Fables, penned and narrated by Reginald Q. Farnsworth.
Thank you, Frank. Before I begin, I would like to give a special hello to all my friends living in Springfield, Illinois. And of course, my condolences to you for having to live there. Now, tonight's story is Cinderella, adapted by yours truly. The story begins in the village of Hammerstein, where a wealthy merchant lived with his daughter Cynthia. His wife had died 5 years ago of the consumption. One day, the woman who had become his second wife walked into his shop. It was Lady Fontaine, the widow of Lord Fontaine, a noble who had enjoyed a life of drink, debauchery, and gambling. As such, Lady Fontaine was flat broke and unpopular. She desired to marry the wealthy merchant to use him as a stepping stone back to the higher rungs of society.
Greetings, wealthy merchant. I wish to make you a proposal.
I have a name, you know.
Of course, I know, but that's irrelevant at the moment.
It's Percy.
What?
My name. It's Percy.
Ugh, regardless, I have a proposal for you. If you marry me, I shall make you the wealthiest and most popular man in the kingdom. Outside of the king, of course.
I don't much care for popularity. And I've already got all the money I could possibly want, being moderately wealthy as I am.
Very well, then. Here is my alternate proposal. Marry me, or I'll blow your head off.
Baby doll, marry me and you'll make me the happiest man on earth.
Oh, merchant, this is all so sudden. Yes, I will marry you, my love.
The two were married very shortly thereafter, whereupon the merchant adopted Lady Fontaine's two daughters, Prunella and Muriella, and Lady Fontaine adopted the merchant's daughter, Cynthia.
But something must be done about that name. It's far too drab for the daughter of a socialite. Let's punch it up a little. From now on, we'll call her Cinderella.
Now wait just a minute. Her mother gave her the name Cynthia. And
now she's dead. If you'd care to join her, we can continue this foolish arguing. Otherwise, you could preserve your life and actually be a father to your now 3 children.
Yes, dear. Whatever you say, dear.
And this is how it was for the next 5 years. During that time, Lady Fontaine and the merchant climbed up the social ladder and grew very well known. Not popular, but well known, and that was good enough for the Lady Fontaine. All was peaches and cream until the merchant's sudden death. Struth! When the merchant died, Lady Fontaine very quickly lost her social standing. Turned out they all liked the merchant, but they absolutely couldn't stand her. Resigned to her fate as a widely reviled person, she decided to focus her energy towards grooming her daughters Prunella and Mariella into popular debutantes. Toward her stepdaughter Cinderella, however, she grew spiteful and cruel, and reduced her to being nothing more than a chambermaid.
That ought to show her for being the offspring of my far more popular dead husband.
This continued until Cinderella turned 19, which is when the story really starts to pick up. At the same time, young Prince Daniel also turned 19, and his parents, the King and Queen, decided to throw an enormous party.
Oh, Mom, do we have to have such a huge party for my birthday?
Yes, we're royalty. The people expect it. Besides, it's been eons since we've thrown a party around here.
Can I hang out with just a couple of my friends? You know, something intimate?
Son, I think it's time your mother and I came clean about why we're throwing such a large party for you. We've invited all the most eligible bachelorettes in the kingdom to attend this shindig.
We want you to find a nice girl and get married so we can finally retire to Boca.
We're both 46. We've lived way past life expectancy. The sooner you can take over ruling the kingdom, the sooner your mother and I can enjoy whatever little time we have left on this earth.
Do I have to be married to take over as king?
It would make us more comfortable knowing someone's around to look out for you.
Also, we've got to get the plot of this turkey rolling somehow.
Fine. But next year, for my 20th birthday, I'm doing what I want for my birthday.
Whatever you say, dear.
The news traveled quickly all over the kingdom, including the village where Cinderella lived. Lady Fontaine brought new dresses for her daughters, Prunella and Mariella, and helped them brush up on how to behave in the presence of a royalty. Cinderella, in the meantime, in addition to scrubbing the floors and washing the dishes and all of that, was now put in charge of washing and styling her stepsisters' hair and polishing their shoes. In what little bits and pieces of spare time she could get, she worked on making a new dress for herself out of an old tablecloth. Then, at last, came the big day of the party.
Oh, Prunella, Mariella, come down and let me see you in your new dresses.
Coming, Mama.
Now, girls, remember, don't run in those dresses. They have to last you until one of you marries the prince.
Mama, which one of us do you think is more likely to marry the prince?
Now, Prunella, you're both very beautiful, and the prince would be lucky to marry either one of you.
Come on, Mama. Answer honestly, please.
Oh, come now. I won't be made to pick between my daughters. Of course, if you insist, Mariella does have a slightly perkier bosom, so she probably has the best chance.
Told ya. Nah.
Oh, clam up.
Oh, but look at that left shoe. It's scuffed ever so slightly. That simply must be taken care of. Cinderella, come down here. You missed a spot on Mariella's shoe.
Coming, Mother.
Sweet, merciful crap. What is that you have on?
It's a dress, Mother.
I can see that. Is that the old burgundy velvet tablecloth I got from my sister that I never use and had absolutely no intention of using?
Well, yes, but...
Of all the selfish, rotten things you have ever done to me. Sometimes I swear you are trying to give me an ulcer. Give me that! For this, I must punish you more severely than I ever have before.
Hey, now you're gonna get it.
Shut up, Mariella! Not only are you not going to the ball, Cinderella, but I shall see to it that you never leave this house again. Come, girls, we have a prince to woo. Have a pleasant evening, Cinderella.
Sheesh. A simple your grandeur would have sufficed.
Just then, a mysterious figure in pink appeared in a sudden puff of smoke.
Who are you? What, you don't recognize your fairy godmother?
You're my fairy godmother?
You were expecting Bernadette Peters, maybe? Oh, you would not believe the day I had today. All the miracles I wrought. I got a doctor to make a house call. I got my son to visit me. I even helped Donald Trump have an intelligent thought for once. Don't be too impressed with that last one, though. All I did was keep him from ordering pineapple on his pizza.
Oh, fairy godmother, do you think you can perform a miracle for me?
Of course I can, darling. What would you like for me to do for you, my little Shiksa?
Well, I was hoping to go to the ball tonight.
Say no more, Bubby. I know just what you need.
And with a wave of her magic wand, the fairy godmother produced a magnificent new gown for Cinderella to wear. It was a long, flowing maroon chiffon ball gown with matching pumps.
Oh, fairy godmother, this dress is absolutely beautiful. But how am I going to get there?
Oh, how silly of me. I'll take care of that.
Geely Cly, is that ever keen?
Okay, darling, you have fun now. Just remember how fairy godmothers work. You must leave the party by 12.
12 midnight?
Don't be Miss Sugar. These royal parties don't start swinging until midnight. I want you should leave by 12 noon.
You got it, fairy godmother.
Okay, now have fun.
And so Cinderella rode off to the castle where the ball was being held. When she got there, she turned many a head. Curiosity. Among those heads was that of Prince Daniel.
Geely, Clyde, are you ever keen? Care to dance?
I'd love to, Your Highness.
Cinderella and Prince Daniel danced together for hours and talked all through the rest of the night.
And then my uncle climbed up onto the roof and started walking like a pigeon.
Man, your uncle sounds like a real weirdo.
Yeah, he was never really the same after that walrus fell on him.
Really? My Uncle Claudius had a walrus fall on him too. Of course, he didn't go crazy. He just barfed up his intestines and died.
Ew!
Before they knew it, it was already noon.
And the father says, what else? The aristocrats.
I don't get it.
Me either, really. Maybe I told it wrong.
Oh no, it's noon. I have to go.
But we're getting along so well. Please stay, Cinderella.
I can't. I made a promise.
Oh. Well, it was nice getting to know you, Cinderella.
The pleasure was all mine, Your Highness.
And as Cinderella ran out the door, one of her shoes slipped off her foot. Prince Daniel quickly picked up the shoe and, after the party, showed it to his parents.
Mom, Dad, I just met the most wonderful girl.
God be praised.
Did you get her address or her number?
No, but she lost one of her shoes when she left. What I'd figured I'd do is I'd get one of the royal bloodhounds to pick up her scent and lead me to her house.
Our boy. He's nothing if not resourceful.
He is indeed a clever young man. Go forth, my son, and seek your true love. Good luck and Godspeed.
And so Prince Daniel did just as he said he would, and eventually he found Cinderella's house.
Hello? Oh, Your Highness! What a surprise! What an honor!
Good evening, milady. May I see Cinderella, please?
Cinderella? My wretched no-account stepdaughter? You must be mistaken. I'm not even sure how you would even know of her. Surely you wish to see one of my lovely daughters, Prunella and Mariella? Perhaps maybe even both if you're so inclined. I won't judge you. It's not my place.
No, milady. It's Cinderella I wish to see.
Very well. It's your funeral. Cinderella, come down here at once.
Coming, Mother.
Oh, I do hate when she calls me that.
What is it? Did Mariella spill her KO pectate again?
Who's blabbing about my KO pectate?
Could it be? Are you the beautiful girl I met last night?
Yes, Your Highness. It is I, Cinderella. I suppose you want me to try on that shoe to prove it.
Shoo shamoo, I'd recognize that punum anywhere. Oh, my love, marry me, and we'll be the happiest couple in the kingdom.
Oh, Daniel, yes! Yes, I'll marry you.
Oh, joy!
And the two of them lived happily ever after. Sure, they had their quarrels, but what happy couple doesn't? I'd end this segment with some kind of snarky remark, but I'm lucky I got this story written. I've had just the worst case of writer's block this past 2 weeks, and to top it all off, my back has been absolutely killing me. I haven't had a decent amount of sleep since July.
Mr. Farnsworth, this is a half-hour program.
Oh, sorry. Ta-ta.
Thank you, Mr. Farnsworth. And so we come to the end of yet another episode of Owl Stretching Time. We hope to be with you all again the same time next week. Until then, keep fighting the machine.
That was Owl Stretching Time, starring Frank Macaluso, Brian Barker, Emily Boes, Aria Hawkins, J.C. Olvera, and Michael Santos, with Erica Caruso, Sean Garfias, Anais Morgan, Megan Pender, and Antonio Verdera. This episode was written, directed, and produced by Frank Macaluso. The script advisor was Camille Lungu. This is your announcer, Isaac Weezer speaking.